Okay, we're going to move on now to how to write the opinion essay. Um, our opinion essay should have 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph should be an opening paragraph. That should be followed by 2 supporting paragraphs and a closing paragraph. Um, Pay close attention to the opening paragraph. It should have an opening sentence, which can be a fact about the topic. You should then introduce your topic. This is the essay topic from the exam, which should be um, put in your own words. It should not be paraphrased. It should not be copied word for word. And then you should express your opinion. So state um, whether you're for or against what was written in the exam, the question. I want to go through each section in detail. And I want to start by saying, before we get into it, that I'm giving a template of where specifically you can put your advanced language structures. And at the end, I'm going to give briefly an even more detailed template, one that you can memorize. However, there are many students that don't need the template. Because there are many students that use advanced language structures naturally. And you don't have to use my template in that sense. You can choose to write freely. So that's an option. I'm giving it to you as a choice. There are certain things you have to use. For example, you need to have an opening paragraph. You need to have supporting paragraphs. You need to have a closing. You need to express your opinion. You need to have topic sentences. Those things you have to have in your essay. But where you put your advanced language structures, which vocabulary you use, those are your choices. This is just a template to help you, to give you a little bit of guidance. And what you use is your choice. So let's get started. Okay, so I like to use this example of a curfew law. So this would be an exam question, for example, like when I had growing up in outside of Chicago. The town has decided to give all teenagers under the age of 17 a town-wide curfew that they have to be in the home by 12 o'clock on the weekends and 10 o'clock on weekdays. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, so I'm going to write that I agree with this law 100%. Okay, and so I'm going to start with my introduction, my introductory paragraph. I'm going to have an opening sentence, and I'm going to start with a sentence that uses the perfect tense. I'm going to introduce the topic by paraphrasing the question given to me in the Bagrut, and then I'm going to state my opinion. So let's see how it goes. Israeli teenagers have always liked staying out late. Last week, a law was enacted stating that students have to be in their homes by 10 o'clock p.m. on weekdays and 12 a.m. on weekends. Despite the fact that this is a controversial law, which is likely to incite opposition, I am in complete support of it. Okay, so I have my perfect tense, I have a relative pronoun, a connector, a high-level vocabulary word, and that is the introduction. Now I'm going to move on to my body paragraphs. Okay, so in paragraph number 1, I am going to dedicate this argument to talking about how this new law is going to protect teenagers from danger. I'm going to dedicate it all to that. And I'm going to start I'm going to have my opening sentence, my topic sentence, start with a gerund. And one thing I want to say is before you start writing, I recommend outlining and brainstorming what your arguments are going to be so you don't end up repeating yourself. So let's read through it and see how it goes. First, staying out late can be very dangerous. This new curfew law will insulate students from potential harm. Most violence occurs late at night as many attacks and robberies are committed when the perpetrator can hide in the dark. Furthermore, at night, there is less parental supervision and more people on the streets participating in risk taking behaviors, such as drinking and drugs. This law will keep teenagers out of harm's way. A few things to point out. This is a bit long, longer than I would even expect someone to write. I could have ended it right here after behaviors, but I wanted to give an example of an example because sometimes they ask in the question, they say you must provide an example. So this would be one of them, or you may give an example. Here is my gerund, sting, out late, connectors, and also you should have for your body paragraph a connector at the beginning of the paragraph first, and then in your next paragraph, the next body paragraph, you'll see second. Okay, so let's go on to the next body paragraph number 2. Here I'm going to dedicate this paragraph to talking about how this curfew law will help the improvement of studies, and I'm gonna start this paragraph. My topic sentence is going to use the second conditional, the hypothetical. Okay, so let's read and see how it goes. Secondly, see I started with secondly, if this new law were enacted, it would help students improve their study habits. We know that students who are out at night are not home studying or rested. For example, a student may feel immense pressure to go out with his or her friends at night in place of preparing for a math exam. This law will remove some of the typical peer pressure and temptation associated with teenage life. Moreover, students will be able to go to sleep at a decent hour and feel refreshed for class the next day. As such, the law could improve punctuality and reduce truancy. So again, a little bit long, but I wanted to give an example of an example and some examples of synonyms, words used with the same meaning but higher level, punctuality, being on time, truancy, absences, being continuously absent from school, connectors, and here again, the second conditional. And now we are at our conclusion, where you want to restate your strongest arguments and restate your opinion. And you can throw in some kind of catchphrase. You want to have a connector in conclusion. Very good one to remember and use. So let's read. In conclusion, society has a responsibility to look out for the best interests of teenagers. While the new teenage curfew law is sure to result in indignation amongst many teens, the benefits clearly outweigh any possible negative effects. That is why I am in favor of this new curfew law. So that is an example of an opinion essay. For those of you that want to keep listening, let's just look through this one more time. Paragraph 1, introduction, opening sentence with a fact. You can use the perfect tense and a relative pronoun. In the present, present your topic. You rephrase the topic from the exam. Again, you paraphrase it because if you copy word for word, those words don't count in the word count. So let's say you have 125 words, but then you copy word for word the essay topic, you'll be under your word count. You'll lose points and give your opinion. So let's look at this. In an effort to reduce let's look at this example of a Bagrut type question. In an effort to reduce the number of car accidents that involve teenage drivers, a suggestion has been made to extend the time new drivers are required to drive with a licensed driver from 3 months to 1 year. So, opening sentence. There have been many traffic accidents over the past few years caused by new drivers. It has been suggested to extend the time new drivers need to drive with a licensed driver to prevent accidents and promote quality driving. I am for this suggestion for many reasons. Very simple to the point. Here are some examples of topic sentences for your body paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, you could talk about, use a gerund and say, first, extending the time required to drive with an experienced driver may decrease accidents. Okay, so you would talk about how accidents will be decreased. In the second paragraph, you could start by using the second conditional and saying, second, if inexperienced drivers had more practice on the road, their driving would improve. So here you would talk about how you'll actually help them be better drivers. So one paragraph you're talking about decreasing accidents, and then the next you're talking about improving driving. Two separate topics. Closing paragraph. You get your strongest argument. In conclusion, protecting society from the dangers presented by unprepared new drivers is one of the government's most important duties. Okay, you have here conclusion, a connector, an argument that's very compelling, and then a restatement of your opinion. That is why I am in support of extending the amount of time new drivers must drive with a licensed adult to 1 year. Okay, so that's just another little brief example of the template. Again, not a requirement to use that exact template of advanced language structures, but one way to remember to use them. Now, there's one more for those of you that want to keep listening and think that you need a little bit more structure. There's one more way to ensure that you use those advanced language structures. So that way is to actually memorize certain phrases. Now, this really brings your writing to a much more structured format and limits it. I think many people can write on their own. But if you really are struggling to remember, here are a few tricks you can do. First of all, in your opening sentence, you can just limit your opening sentence to say, I have been asked to discuss, and then take the topic from the essay, from the Bagrut question. So I have been asked to discuss whether a new curfew law should be implemented in my town. Then, in one of your supporting paragraphs, let's just look to supporting back number 2. You can automatically use a gerund and use this phrase. Second, when discussing this new curfew law, it is important to know that it will help all teenagers get more sleep. And then you can memorize this line. When you restate your strongest argument and opinion, you can say, in conclusion, taking everything that was said into consideration. Here you have a gerund and you have a passive verb. So an example of this is here. Opening sentence. I have been asked to discuss the topic of teen curfew. Last week, a law was enacted that said students have to be in their homes by 10 p.m. on weekdays and 12 a.m. on weekends. In my opinion, this is a crucial law that is necessary for many reasons. I'm going to jump now to here, improvement of study. Secondly, when discussing this new law, we must discuss education. This is actually considered a temporal clause, and you need to have proper punctuation, but this is a template here that you can memorize. And lastly, this phrase. In conclusion, taking everything that was said into consideration, the benefits clearly outweigh any possible negative effects. That is why I'm in favor of the new curfew law. Again, that's another option for writing this essay. All of these different essays are on the website, the Moodle. Nothing replaces practicing. Nothing replaces doing the work yourself. But all of this material is to help you learn how to integrate these structures into your writing. A couple of final reminders. Again, separate your paragraphs. Remember to skip a line between each paragraph in order to organize your writing and make it neat and easy to read. Remember to state your opinion in the opening paragraph. It's an opinion essay, so you should be able to, you should state your opinion. Don't repeat your argument. Don't copy the essay question. Make sure that each of your arguments is distinct and different from the others. Points that are very similar to each other should be grouped together. Provide examples. When they say you must have examples, give them. When they say you can have examples, you can. Use connectors and high-level words. The second, third, and fourth paragraph should each start with a connector, and you should use connectors throughout the essay. And do not use, try not to use contractions, slang, and definitely don't use foul language. And with that, that is the end of our lesson. And I wish everyone good luck.